Hi everyone and welcome back to Learnosity's webinar series. Thanks for joining us for our second LTS webinar of 2020. We do hope that everyone is safe and well during these uncertain times. My name is Michael Sharman. I am the Director of Product at Learnosity and I'm based in our Sydney office. Firstly, just some quick housekeeping notes to go over. You are on mute, but if you have any questions throughout the webinar, you can ask them in the control panel. A member of the team will respond to any questions you have via email after the webinar. You can always log a ticket through our support portal at help.learnosity.com with any follow-up questions that you might have. And anyone who has registered for this webinar will be sent the recording this week. In today's webinar, we'll be looking at all the features from our latest long-term support release, 2020.2.LTS. Let's just briefly run through what features that we did release, and that release was on the 22nd of July. Firstly, for assessment, we released a variety of new question type enhancements for rich text essays, for the drawing question type, for the multiple choice question type, and for 3 of our fill-in-the-blanks question types. That was around distractor rationale support. We're also very happy to announce that we have an accessibility VPAT that's available on request, and we will dive into that shortly. For the authoring team, our content publishing workflow is now fully customizable, and the ability to leave comments for your collaborators has also been added. We've added a safeguard that checks for question validation to make sure that it's set on auto-scored questions when saving. We have a new ability to preview distractor rationale as the student would see them. And we also have API version management is now self-service, available for you to set when using the author site, and you can set that through Learnosity console. And in analytics, we released a new histogram view to the response analysis report, and this can provide educators with a more visual overview of student responses. We also have new self-hosted adaptive enhancement, and that means if you are using self-hosted adaptive, you can store important custom state data with us to make your requests for each item more efficient. So firstly, let's give you a closer look at our assessment releases. Essays have received several enhancements this time round. Students can now upload images as a part of their responses if the author has allowed them. Students can shrink those images, they can rotate those images. It is mobile friendly, and reviewers can also access the image at its full size during review. Let's have a quick look at a demo. Here we have a fictional assessment situation where a student is being asked to write an essay. I have some sample content added in here, and they might choose to upload an image to reinforce the talking points that they're writing. Wherever I have my cursor, I can have a new image button that I can click. Now this does need to be enabled from the authoring perspective. Once it is enabled, the student can browse their device for any image that they might have, and they can choose to insert it. Now looking at the dimensions, I can see it's quite a wide image. Let's have a look to see the options. Now I can choose to rotate the image. I can replace it if I made a mistake. Now, if I add the full-size image, it might be too big for the student, a bit too many distractions for them. So I can choose to edit that and put in something that's a little bit smaller. Once I've done that as well, of course, I can do things like aligning the image to the center, to the right. Now, once that has been submitted, the reviewer has the ability to see the student response as they would normally do. And if the image is too small, maybe the image had a lot of detail, they can tap the image and view a larger size. And even if that's not big enough, they can choose to open that in a whole new window, which will open the original size image that the student uploaded. We've expanded our math and chemistry essay question types as well, so that expressions can now be added anywhere in a student response, inline and block. This enhancement is allowing students the flexibility to add them where they couldn't before. Previously, you could only do them on new lines. Now you can enter a math expression, chemistry expression within a sentence of text as well as on a new line. And of course, authors can configure the keypad, the symbol group that a student can see, to suit a variety of use cases. You now have the ability to add labels of typed text to your diagrams with different font sizes and multiple colors. You can also add support for math Unicode symbols and special characters. This is on the drawing question type. Let's have a quick look at a demo. Again, here's a fictional assessment where a student is being shown the drawing question type, and they might be asked to do several things. Now, they can use the scribble tool as they might normally do, and they can make connections between them, but anything a bit more precise is difficult with this particular tool. The text tool is a new offering here, allowing students to add a text-based label to anywhere in the image. Now I can choose a font size, I could add math characters or customizable special characters, and we can choose the color as well, which is also customizable. Choosing to add text anywhere on here, I might say this is my obtuse angle for instance, and then of course you can move that around anywhere you want. You can add multiple labels anywhere in the diagram. For multiple choice questions where you have multiple options available, you can now set minimum and or maximum number of responses that the student can choose. And this will prevent answers from being submitted until the requisite number of responses have been selected by the learner. In the example we're seeing on screen, we have multi-select multiple choice question, 4 possible answers, but only 2 are allowed. You can also prevent the assessment player from progressing until the requisite number have been chosen. That's either a minimum or, and of course a maximum. You can't select more. We're very happy to announce that we now have a full voluntary product accessibility template, or VPAT, to help detail how our products measure up to accepted accessibility standards. This currently targets our assessment stack, and our VPAT is now available by request. So please do get in touch if you would like to see that. Speaking about accessibility, we have some enhancements to our graphing question type. This is more accessible for vision impaired users by allowing full keyboard exploration of graphs with audio feedback. Next up, let's take a look at our authoring features. For our content publishing workflow, we've made collaboration during the authoring process easier by making workflows fully customizable. So teams can now redefine the order and the phases or the states of authoring reviews to suit their specific needs. We recognize that not everybody will align with the states that we have out of the box. And that is configurable via our data API. Another addition to workflow is that authors can now also add comments for other content creators and reviewers during the collaboration process. For our distractor rationale, we have a great enhancement for authors. You can now preview the student display of distractor rationale from within the authoring environment. This is available for multiple choice and 3 of our fill-in-the-blanks question types. Let's have a look at a quick demo. Here we are authoring a multiple choice question. Now in this question, we want to set some rationale as to why a specific response might be incorrect. Now you could do this from the last release for multiple choice at least. However, the new one here is the preview. You can show distractor rationale. Now firstly, you need to author your rationale. So we have the question level here, and we also have some individual per response rationale down below. Now, in the user interface, you can choose what you want to show. So at the question level, we can show it only when the question is incorrect. And for the response, we'll turn it off for now. Now, when I turn this on and I select a response, I can see immediately that the rationale as to why it's wrong at the question level is previewed to the student. Now, as an author, I can see this happening, which makes it easier to craft my content. And you can also do it at the response level. Maybe we'll turn off question and we'll turn on for per response. And you can see what's happened there is I get the individual response. So for response 4, I get the rationale as to why that's incorrect, 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 and then the correct. Sometimes authors make mistakes and they forget to set validation on a question. So authors can now activate a safeguard that prevents auto-scored questions from being saved until the correct answers have been set. This means that forgetting to add the answer to a question will no longer be a problem. Let's have a look at a quick demo there. Here I have a multiple choice question type, and I haven't added any validation. You can see here on the left. When the author goes to save this question, they will be presented with a warning here. You need to set a correct answer, and we indicate in the user interface exactly where the problem is. In which case I can add my correct answer, and then I can save. Many customers are sure to find this addition very convenient. Content administrators now get instant self-service control over which API version is being used in the Learnosity self-hosted author site, and you can do this via Learnosity's console. And before we finish up today's webinar, let's have a look at our analytics release. The new histogram view on our response analysis report gives teachers a more visual overview of student responses, letting them identify common pitfalls and misconceptions more quickly and easily. Let's have a look at a quick demo. This demo is available on our public demos site at demos.learnosity.com. And I can see the response analysis report in action. I have each row represents a student and each column represents an item. Now this report has already been released, but the addition is this histogram here. Okay, what you can see is the distribution of responses by every student. Now I can see 4 students chose A, 1 chose B, none chose C, 5 chose the correct answer D, and none of the students didn't attempt this. By tapping into it, you get a broader view, a larger view, as well as the preview of the question. Now the point here is of course to show teachers at a glance where some misconceptions are in the class. Although 5 got the correct answer right, which was D, 4 chose A. Now that might lead a teacher, give them some insights to help them in future days, future weeks, to adjust their teaching to address this misconception. And if you're building your own self-hosted adaptive engine using our custom adaptive, you can now store important custom state data. And this could be used for scores or debugging, diagnostic information, error logs, or just instructions. It can make your per item request from Learnosity to your system more efficient. And that concludes our general overview for the latest long-term support release for 2020. It was another big one this time around. Each long-term support cycle is around 4 months, and there's a huge amount of effort that does go into this across every department in Learnosity, of course from development and design and the product teams, but all the customer-facing teams as well. Everybody's involved, and a big, big thank you for their hard work. Of course, we're already working on the next long-term support release, which is 2020.3.LTS, due out in October. Stay tuned for more features then. Thanks for attending today, and once again, if you have any questions, please log a ticket at help.learnosity.com. If you've already asked a question, we'll follow up via email shortly. And once again, I do want to remind you that our VPAT is available by request, so please get in touch if you would like to see that. We look forward to hearing from you, and again, we hope you are all safe and well. Thanks, and we'll see you next time.